It happens at night usually. Your cat freezes. Its eyes lock onto an empty corner of the ceiling, the blank space above a doorway, a patch of wall where there is absolutely nothing. Its ears swivel forward, its body goes still and tense. And it watches, tracking something across the emptiness that you cannot see at all. The hair on your arms stands up and a very old thought crosses your mind. Cats can see ghosts. Here's the truth, and it's stranger than the ghost story. Your cat is not staring at nothing. There is something there, something real, something physically present in that room, and the reason you can't see it is not that it's supernatural. It's that your senses are simply too weak to detect it. Your cat lives in the same room as you, but it perceives a version of that room that is wider, sharper, and more crowded than anything your eyes and ears can show you. The ghost is real. You're just blind to it, so hold on to two things. First, when your cat stares at nothing, there is always something there, and by the end you'll know the specific list of real things it's reacting to. And second, there is one sense where the gap between you and your cat is so enormous that the two of you are, in a very real way, living in different realities in the same room. By the end, you'll understand exactly what your cat is experiencing that you never will. And stick around, because the strangest part isn't the staring, it's the answer to the question every owner secretly asks. When should I actually be worried? There's a clear line between a cat perceiving the invisible and a cat that needs a vet, and I'll show you exactly where it is. Here's why this is worth understanding instead of just getting a chill and moving on. For thousands of years, humans have looked at this exact behavior and reached for the supernatural cats as spirit seers, as ghost detectors, as creatures with one paw in another world. And that folklore, charming as it is, does your cat a disservice, because it replaces something genuinely astonishing. The real sensory superpowers your cat actually has with a spooky story that isn't true. And there's a practical edge to it too. If you believe every empty corner stare is your cat watching a ghost, you'll never notice the rare occasions when the staring means something medical, something a vet should see. Knowing the difference between my cat is perceiving the invisible, as cats do, and my cat is doing something a healthy cat doesn't, is genuinely useful information, and the ghost story erases it completely. Researchers who study animal sensory biology have measured exactly how far a cat's perception extends beyond ours, and the numbers are staggering. So the question I want in the back of your mind: when your cat stares at the empty air, is it seeing another world, or is it seeing this world, the real one, in far more detail than you can? Because it's the second one, and that's the more incredible answer. Let's start with the sense behind the most common nothing stares, and it isn't sight at all. It's hearing. Most of the time when your cat is locked onto a blank wall, it isn't watching something. It's listening to something and tracking the sound source with its eyes. And here's where the gap opens up. You hear sounds up to about 20,000 hertz and less than that as you age. Your cat hears up to somewhere around 60,000 hertz, roughly 3 times higher than you. That's not a small upgrade. It means there is an entire layer of sound constantly present in your home that exists for your cat and simply does not exist for you. Think about what's in that layer. The ultrasonic squeaks and scratches of a mouse moving inside your wall. The high-frequency whine of your electronics, a phone charger, a television, an LED bulb, a computer, all of which emit sounds above your hearing range that your cat hears clearly. The skittering of an insect behind the baseboard, the rustle of something in the attic 3 rooms away. To you, that wall is silent. To your cat, it might be broadcasting the unmistakable sound of prey. Think of a cat named Jasper, who would sit and stare intently at one specific spot on the kitchen wall every evening until his owners had the wall checked and found mice nesting inside it. Jasper wasn't seeing a ghost. He'd been listening to a mouse colony his humans couldn't hear, for weeks, pointing right at it the whole time. That's the first half of loop 1 closing. Most nothing stares are your cat tracking a real sound from a world of audio you're deaf to. And there's a reason your cat can point at the source so eerily precisely, down to a single spot on a blank wall. Its ears aren't just sensitive, they're directional radar. Each ear is controlled by around 30 muscles and can rotate independently, swiveling up to nearly a full half circle to aim at a sound. A cat hears a faint noise, and the 2 ears move separately, triangulating, measuring the minuscule difference in when the sound reaches each side, until they've locked the exact location. Then the eyes follow the ears to that point and hold. Think of a cat named Onyx, whose owner noticed his ears would rotate in different directions at once, like 2 little satellite dishes, before he fixed his stare on some precise patch of the room. That independent ear movement is the cat zeroing in. So when your cat seems to be staring at one impossibly specific empty spot, it's not random. Its radar has already pinpointed something there, and the eyes are just confirming the coordinates the ears handed them. But here's where it gets interesting, because sometimes your cat really is watching something move across that empty space. And it's still real. A cat's eyes are built for detecting movement in a way yours aren't. Its retina is packed with motion-sensitive cells, and it can perceive tiny, fast movements that your eyes would smooth over or miss entirely. So when your cat's gaze tracks slowly across a blank wall, following something invisible, it may be watching a single tiny insect, a gnat, a near-microscopic spider, a speck of dust catching a current of air. A mote of dust drifting through a thin shaft of light is, to a cat's motion detection system, a clear and trackable object. To you, it's invisible, the movement is too small, too faint, too fast. But your cat sees it cross the room like a tiny aircraft. The nothing your cat is watching is often just something too small for you, a real physical speck moving through real physical air. This same fast motion sensitivity is why cats react to screens the way they do. A cat's eyes refresh faster than ours. They detect flicker and rapid change that our slower vision blurs into smoothness, which is part of why a cat will lock onto a TV or a phone and track movement on it that seems, to us, like an ordinary continuous image. Think of a cat named Clover, who sits inches from the television following things across the screen that her owner assumed she couldn't really process. But Clover's eyes were catching motion and flicker his never could. The point is the same as the wall. Your cat's motion detection is simply running at a higher resolution than yours, picking up fast, faint, fleeting movement everywhere, including across blank space where your slower eyes register stillness. And it can see all of this in light levels that would leave you blind. A cat needs roughly 6 times less light than you do to see, thanks to a reflective layer behind its retina, the thing that makes cats' eyes glow in the dark. So in a dim room at night, when you can barely make out the furniture, your cat is watching a fully lit scene, complete with the tiny moving things you couldn't see even with the lights on. The dark, empty, midnight room you see and the room your cat sees are not the same room. We're almost at the most extreme gap, but first, 2 more senses feeding those stairs. There's smell. A cat's sense of smell is vastly more powerful than ours, and it has a second smelling organ we don't even possess, a structure in the roof of its mouth that lets it essentially taste scent from the air. You've seen a cat do the Flamen response. It freezes, mouth slightly open, lips curled, looking blank and far away. It's not malfunctioning. It's pulling a scent into that second organ to analyze it in extraordinary detail, reading a chemical message left in the air that you have no idea is there. A cat staring at nothing, with that open-mouthed, distant look, is reading the room's invisible scent map. And there are the whiskers, which detect air currents and vibrations so subtle that a cat can sense something moving nearby in total darkness without seeing or hearing it at all, a shift in the air as an object passes. So even the air itself carries information to your cat that's completely silent to you. Now here's the most extreme gap of all, loop 2, and it's the one that truly means you and your cat live in different realities. Your cat can see ultraviolet light. Human eyes have a built-in filter that blocks ultraviolet. We literally cannot see it. But research into animal vision found that cats' eyes let ultraviolet light through to the retina, meaning cats perceive a range of light that is, to us, pure invisibility. And think about what ultraviolet reveals. Under UV, things glow that look like nothing to us. Urine trails light up. Certain patterns on surfaces, on plants, on fabrics become visible. Some insects and animal markings fluoresce. There are objects and traces all over your home that are painted in a color you have no word for and no ability to perceive, and your cat sees them plainly. Try to imagine the everyday version of this. The patch of carpet by the door where a previous pet once had an accident, long cleaned and invisible to you, to your cat it may still glow faintly under UV, a luminous mark on the floor. The flowers on your table, plain to you, can carry ultraviolet patterns. Threads in fabric, smudges on glass, traces on a windowsill. Your cat's world is dusted with glowing details that are, to you, simply not there. It's not that your cat occasionally sees a strange light. It's that an entire decorative layer of reality is switched on for your cat and switched off for you all day in every room. So picture it. Your cat is staring at a blank patch of floor or wall. To you, empty. But that patch may be glowing with a UV trace, an old scent mark, a pattern in the material, a smear that fluoresces under a wavelength your eyes filter out entirely. Your cat isn't seeing a ghost on that wall. It's seeing a stain of light that is genuinely there and genuinely invisible to you. That's loop 2 closed. The gap isn't that your cat sees a little better, it's that your cat perceives whole categories of real information, ultrasonic and ultraviolet, that your body is physically built to block out. You are not in the same sensory world, you never have been. And that's the truth underneath all of it. Loop 1 closed completely. When your cat stares at nothing, it is never nothing. It's a sound above your hearing. A movement too small for your eyes, a scent you can't smell, a trace of light you can't see. Your cat is not haunted. Your cat is better equipped, tuned to a fuller, louder, brighter, more crowded version of reality than the one your senses allow you into. The ghost was always real. It was just a real thing perceived by a real animal in a world wider than yours. But I promised you the line when staring is just a cat being a cat and when it's something to watch. Because there is a difference and it matters. The overwhelming majority of the time, empty air staring is completely normal, your cat perceiving the invisible, exactly as we've described. But a few patterns are worth a vet's attention. If an older cat suddenly starts staring or seems disoriented, bumping into things that can relate to vision changes or high blood pressure. If the staring comes with repetitive, frantic behavior, a cat that obsessively fixates with skin rippling along its back, sudden manic grooming, or biting at its own tail or flank, sometimes called feline hyperesthesia, that's worth investigating. And if you ever see a true blank episode where the cat seems genuinely absent, unresponsive, with twitching it can't control, that could be a focal seizure and warrants a vet. The simple rule. Normal staring is alert, ears tracking, eyes following, the cat clearly attending to something real. Concerning staring is disconnected, vacant, unresponsive, paired with repetitive or distressed movement, or a sudden change in an older cat. Alert and tracking, that's your cat's superpower at work. Vacant and disconnected or newly disoriented, call the vet, that's the stick around payoff closed, so here's where we land. We started with a chill down the spine, the cat watching the empty corner, the ancient suspicion that it sees the dead. And we found something that should give you a different kind of awe. Your cat isn't peering into another world. It's perceiving this one, the same room you're in, with a richness you will never experience. Hearing into frequencies you're deaf to, seeing in light you'd call darkness, tracking movement too small for your eyes, reading scent like text, and seeing colors of light your body physically blocks. The empty corner was never empty. You were just never invited to see what was in it. If you think back across everything, the cat that senses the unscented intruder, that fears the silent unknown, that hunts on a clock you can't feel, this is the foundation under all of it. An animal living beside you in a sensory reality far wider than your own. Your cat has been trying to show you, every time it stares at the wall. It sees the world more completely than you do, and now and then it pauses to watch a part of it you'll never reach. It's not seeing ghosts. It's seeing a reality wider than yours, and it's just written in a language we were never taught to read until now. So let's account for everything. When your cat stares at nothing, there's always something real there, a sound above your hearing, a movement too small for your eyes, a scent you can't detect, a trace of UV light you can't see closed. The one sense gap so extreme it makes you and your cat live in different realities. Ultrasonic hearing and ultraviolet vision, whole channels of reality your body blocks closed. And the line between normal and concerning, alert and tracking is the superpower, vacant and disconnected, or newly disoriented is the vet closed. But sometimes your cat doesn't just silently watch the unseen. Sometimes it sees something it absolutely can see, a bird just outside the window out of reach, and it makes the strangest sound in its entire repertoire. That rapid, stuttering chatter. The teeth clicking, the jaw vibrating, the eerie little cry. It looks almost involuntary, and what your cat is doing in that moment is far stranger and a little darker than you'd guess. That's the next one. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there.